There's nothing quite as soothing as the sounds of a rainforest, but this isn't any old rainforest. This rainforest is made entirely out of our old rubbish, and it's called the Frugal forest. The Frugal forest is a gigantic artwork that you can walk around in, and it really does feel like you're surrounded by a natural rainforest. There's fungi that's been made out of old socks, palm trees that have been made out of pot plants, and if you listen carefully, you can hear the sounds of the rainforest too. I think that's a frog, maybe a bird, and a bat too. They're not real sounds though, they're all actually made out of rubbish too. I wanted to find out how I could make my own rainforest soundscape out of the junk that I have at home. I caught up with one of the artists who created the sounds of the Frugal forest to find out what inspired his beautiful soundscape. This is the very clever Ben.
What happens in the rainforest is when the birds wake up in the morning, we get lots of talk. They start all saying hello to each other in the morning. And so we've got a cotton reel here, which can make some of those sounds.
Wow, that sounds so real.
Yeah. When it gets hot in the middle of the day, some different animals come out, like cicadas. And when it gets hot, often you can get a storm. So we can have some rain.
Cool.
Or thunder.
Oh yeah, wow.
And when you hold that up to a microphone, you'll get the real depth sound of the thunder.
Fantastic. Okay, so what happens next in the rainforest?
So after the rain settles down, often the frogs will come out. So here we have a jar lid, and just by pressing my thumb into the centre of the lid, we can get the frog sound.
That sounds so real.
And finally, in the nighttime, different birds will come out, like owls, which make this kind of sound using a bottle.
Very cool.
But there are so many more sounds you can make using the rubbish, such as a door hinge.
Wow.
You can make a kookaburra out of a paper cup and a piece of string.
That sounds so real.
Or if you need some flapping sounds, you can always use an umbrella.
Wow, who would have thought you can make so many cool sounds out of old rubbish?
Yeah, so are you ready to make your own rainforest soundscape?
I am. I think we'll need an extra pair of hands to create a soundscape out of all of this rubbish. Luckily, Ben has a collaborator on hand.
Morrow's been helping with every aspect of the Frugal forest, from the art design to the soundscapes.
So with the soundscape, we've actually compressed an entire day in the forest, all those sounds into about 20 minutes, using all the sounds of the junk that we can find. This has to be my personal favourite. It's actually a vacuum cleaner hose, and it makes great frog noises if you scrunch it up and then... And it has another function. I think you probably want to watch out, but...
Oh, wow, that's amazing. Okay, so I think that's enough experimenting. Should we get on and make the soundtrack?
Yeah.
All right, I'm pressing record. I think that sounded great.
Yeah.
so much for having me in the Frugal Forest. It's been awesome. Shall we see what other noises we can make?
Yep.
This is where the fun starts now. Liquid nitrogen, you have to be really careful with it because it's approximately -190 centigrade. My name's John Marshall. I'm a bit of a self-taught scientist with food. I make loads of wacky flavoured ice creams and cakes and chocolates, and I make them all in my lab here in Canberra. What's happening in this bowl now is basically the liquid nitrogen is freezing the custard base. The flavours that I make are blue cheese, black truffle, Vegemite, and obviously lots of different types of chocolate. I was always interested in different flavour combinations because I make everything from scratch. It gives me a bit of a buzz to try different things all the time. It unfortunately freezes the custard base a little bit too hard. So what you need to do is use a blowtorch around the base of the mixer. The equipment that I work with is all three-phase, water-cooled ice cream machines, and then the batch freezer can make 16 litres of ice cream in 7 minutes. There you go. This is one of my weird and wonderful and crazy blue cheese ice creams made. What I really enjoy about science is that it's almost limitless what you can do with food. There's not just the science behind the actually cooking of the food, but it's the actual way the brain can taste, how you feel. It's just so much fun because there's so many flavours out there, it's almost limitless. The inspiration, I was in IT all my life and gradually making more and more ice cream and getting people to sample it more. I'd always had a passion for all things cooking, but I'd started targeted the dessert side of it all, and I was getting quite good feedback with that. I just love desserts basically, and I think when you go out to somewhere really nice and have a dessert, if the dessert is good, you remember the place. If the dessert is bad, it sort of overrides what you've had the rest of the evening. I don't use pastes and flavourings, so they are real tastes. Also, I think over the years, people have got used to the fact that I don't use colour. So actually, apart from what some people think about colours in food, a lot of people these days really appreciate natural looking food. I absolutely love my job.
We interrupt our regular program for some breaking news. Our weather reporter Josh Richards has made it to the planet Jupiter. Josh, what's Jupiter like? I've always wanted to go. Hey Earthlings, it's Josh Richards reporting from Jupiter. If you like a storm, make sure you put Jupiter on the top of your travel list. I'm in the middle of a swirling cloud right now. It's yellow, brown, orange. It's actually quite terrifying. It's kind of like if someone had put together a cyclone, a tornado and a hurricane and they all became best friends to form a superstorm. I'm actually quite terrified right now. No, really, it's wonderful. It's wonderful. Jupiter has one giant storm called the Great Red Spot. It's both beautiful and horrifying. It's been thundering for hundreds of years, and you can fit at least the Earth inside of it. Jupiter is best described as a giant ball of gas. No, not that kind of gas. There's actually no solid ground. I'm just floating right now. Now, Earth spins about once every 24 hours, but Jupiter is much faster than that. It spins once every 10 hours. It's actually quite dizzying. I think I'm feeling a little bit sick. It feels like I'm inside a washing machine filled with soup. Okay. I think I'm feeling okay. If I could stand still for long enough, I might be able to count one of Jupiter's many moons. First, there were 53 of them, and then scientists found another 14. Too many moons, Jupiter! Too many moons. One of the moons has active volcanoes on it. Another one is covered in ice and might have an ocean underneath it. One of them is even bigger than Mercury. Let's get to the weather, and no surprises, extreme winds and powerful storms. The forecast ahead, extreme winds and powerful storms. Now, the spaceship that we came here on was crushed and annihilated by the immense pressure. So, are you guys going to come and pick us up? Actually, I'm feeling a little bit. Does anyone have a bucket? What fun Josh is having. Well, that's it for the news. Good day and good luck.
I'm on the HMV Endeavour, which is a replica of the ship Captain Cook travelled to Australia on. Now, the cool thing about this ship is its bottom. It has a flat bottom, which means it can go in really shallow waters, and it really helped them out when they got stranded on the Great Barrier Reef in 1770. Up next, Lindsay catches up with some kiwi birds.
Kiwi have got to be the cutest animals I've ever seen.
My name is Lindsay Gray and I'm a senior Kiwi Ranger. You love that. Maybe not. A senior Kiwi Ranger is someone that helps look after baby kiwi. That's right, there is a fruit called a kiwi fruit, but that's a fruit. This is a bird. Kiwi have got to be the cutest animals I've ever seen. They're all fluffy, they have tiny little beady eyes and a funny big nose. They only live in New Zealand and kiwi don't fly. That's because its wings are too small. Its ancestors used to fly, and because there were no predators in New Zealand, they had nothing to fly away from. So we think that's why they stopped flying. Kiwi are endangered. A while ago, people brought an animal called a stoat to New Zealand. Stoats are a little mammal and they love to eat baby kiwi. The program that I work in, we take the egg and protect the little chick that hatches until it's big enough to fight off the stoats all on their own. There are 5 different types of kiwi in New Zealand. The kiwi that I'm looking after is called the rowie, and it's the rarest kiwi of all of them. There are only 500 of them left. The program has hatched over 250 rowie, and this year we've hatched about 40. I'm working at a place called the West Coast Wildlife Centre. Well, I've arrived at work and it's time to look after some baby kiwi. My daily routine involves going into the incubation room and check on all the eggs. Hello! We whistle at them because that's the sound the dad kiwi makes. And then I also do what's called candling. I turn off all of the lights and get a really bright torch and shine it inside the egg. And you can see the embryo growing inside, the baby chick. We just check that they're growing okay. Then we put all the eggs back and go into the brooder room. And inside the brooder room, the little chicks that have hatched from the eggs are learning how to live independently. Once it's safely hatched, you have to teach a kiwi how to eat. So first it eats food that doesn't move, like mince and veggies. But then you have to get it eating moving food, like worms and grubs. And then once it's big enough, you can release it back into the wild. If you want to become a Kiwi Ranger, you'll have to go and study biology at university. And then offer yourself up as a volunteer at a zoo or somewhere like that and just learn how to look after animals from the experts. It's really, really fun. Oh, very good. Okay, you can pause it.
Can you guess what this is? Come on, why don't you play along at home?
Yeah, it's like sort of a printer mixed with a telephone.
Yeah.
I think it's a printer and you can call on it.
I think it's something to do with a hospital because it looks like it has all the stuff that you would need for an X-ray or something.
It was a typewriter. It's a printer. An old printer.
It's a typewriter.
An old printer, mister.
Okay. Yeah, not very sure. It's an old-fashioned type thing because there's key. Oh wait, no, is that a phone? Printer. It's a printer. I think it's a printer. Typewriter.
Yeah. A giant typewriter?
Oh, printer.
Maybe a scanner?
Hang on. No, this is a radio. Maybe this is a radio because it says ABC.
Okay, but how does it work?
You just type in a number.
And then you press one of these buttons. I think it works like a phone. Hello. My mum's phone number would be like...
I don't know. You call someone and then maybe you type it down. Hello, who's there? What? Hello?
You put it in the paper into here, then it goes into there, and then it sends to whoever wants.
You type in your phone number and then...
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no, but they didn't have phones till like...
It's a printer.
No, it's a phone. No, it's not a phone. It's a printer. Wait, it says ABC. Maybe it's a radio. I know my mum's phone number. Hang on.
Nope.
You put maybe a piece of paper in it.
Okay, guys, so this is a fax machine. Have you heard of a fax machine before?
Yes, I have. No. In my whole life.
So a fax machine is a way of transmitting documents over long distances before the internet and email. The first fax machine was created in 1846, but they became fixtures in offices in the 20th century. So to use it, you place a document in the scanner tray and dial the number of the person who'll be receiving the fax. So it's just like using a telephone. The machine will scan the document, connect to the other fax machine, and send it to them.
Cool.
How would you send something far away, like a document?
Computer, maybe? Like modern technology again, I reckon.
By computer or email.
Well, you can email now. Go, here we go. Or maybe send.
Press send and then it's there in the next second.
We usually do it on computers, like the documents where you print the documents out, then you do it something as paper now. Email and message.
Phone. Post. And in the old days, you couldn't. There was no internet back then. You had to use these.
Would you use this?
Maybe.
Looks a bit too. Maybe. I'm gonna agree with her. Looks very complicated.
You're supposed to use this thing. Not anymore.
Yes.
No. Yeah, maybe some people still have them in their houses, but not many people use them.
Yeah, I've used it before, I
On a
think.
scale of 1 to 10, 5.
If there were no computers or anything, I'd probably use this then.
If I was on a desert island with nothing else,
Yeah,
I
maybe. Like, but still, my mum still uses it, so it can be used still.
Probably not.
If I had a chance of getting a new smartphone or this, I'd definitely not choose this.
Hello?